Mm-hmm. Good morning. Good morning. The hymn is called There's a River Flowing in My Soul. Would you say it with me? There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. Okay, it goes like this. Listen. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. Will you sing it with me? Let's try it out. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. Excellent. Everybody's got it. That's wonderful. Now it just takes you to rise, and we could use some help in the percussion section. It goes like this. Oh, you've done this part before. That's great. Here we go. There's a river flowing in my soul. Flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. In my mind, in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. In my heart, there's a river. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Wow. Y'all sound good. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to First Universalist Church. My name is Reverend Arif Mamdani. I am your associate minister, and I am overjoyed to welcome you this morning to First Universalist. It is a joy to be together. Leading worship this morning with Dr. Glenn Thomas Rideout, with Franco Holder, Lori Stevens, John Stites, and Jen Stromberg, our work in tech back in the booth back there. Thank you very much. Helping bring in all the folks who are online. all of the many people ushering and greeting, so many that I cannot list you all. And there's one other person we're leading worship with this morning. Last but far from least would be the Reverend Jen Crow. And this whole year is your 10th anniversary year, so I can talk about Gen 10 for a long, long time. Gen 10 again. Thank you, Glenn Thomas. Next week will be Gen 10 again. Folks, this is a church that has placed itself at the crossroads over and over and over again throughout its history. Whether it was developing the civic infrastructure and social safety net as the city was forming, to our much more recent efforts to provide sanctuary, stop line 3, or place our bodies on the side of our black siblings and claim the truth that Black lives matter, there is a through line of commitment to justice and liberation that runs right back to the evening of October 24th, 1859, when a small group gathered to form what would become this church. And with that is also our commitment to grapple with the many contradictions that accrue when we try to step out of the status quo and work to bend the great arc of history toward justice. And so we as a church have been compelled, age after age, to try to make sense of who we are and how it is that any of us has the audacity and the privilege to act on the side of liberation and justice, and how in every age we make some advances, and in every age there remains work to be done. Some of it in ourselves, some of it in the world, all of it together in community, because who we are at church influences who we are in the world, and who we are in the world is one of the ways that we change it. Another way that we change it is to tell the truth about where we are. And so I want to invite you to breathe into the reality of the earth beneath us, to know that it's there, to feel gravity holding us. And with the reality of the earth, to know that the land that we are on is land that is not ours. It is land that was stolen from our native and indigenous siblings. The homeland of the Dakota and the Lakota people who were here thousands of years before anyone showed up talking about a First Universalist Church. Knowing this, living this reality, and embracing what it calls of us, which is to take responsibility for what we have inherited, whether we created it or not, and to work to set right the injustice, the imbalance, the inequity, so that we don't carry it forward into the future. This is the life of faith that I invite you into this morning. Claiming your place, claiming our place in this long line of history that stretches into the past and will carry on, God willing, into a future far beyond the brief flash of our lives. But do not be alarmed if you do not fancy yourself one who takes to the barricades and the picket lines. There are many ways to be involved, and I hope you will find the ways to connect that are right for you. There are several ways to get connected. One is to visit our website, sign up for our weekly email newsletter if you haven't already. That's a great place to check out what's going on. Or, since you're here, in person or online, take a look around. Find someone who looks like they know what they're doing and say to them, hey, how are you connected here and how might I join you? I promise you that the conversation that you have and their answers will be interesting. The good kind of interesting, not the Minnesota kind of interesting. I also want to be sure to let you know about monthly dinners that are starting next week. These are going to be on Wednesday nights. They are a gathering for all ages to enjoy a meal together, participate in some programming after dinner, and have some space and time for connection and community. It's really at the heart of what we do as a faith congregation. These will be happening about once a month. More info and a place to sign up is online. Please, please, please sign up so that we know how much food we need. So more info is online and at the back of the sanctuary. Friends, today is a special day in the life of the congregation, and it is that for several reasons. The first of which is that it is a miracle that we are alive and here to enjoy this day. Yeah. Every day is a gift, and so we can start our time in gratitude. It is also the first day of religious education classes. I'm super excited about this. And last, but certainly not least, it is the long-awaited Gen 10 celebration, a celebration of Reverend Jen Crow's 10 years of ministry with the congregation. Super excited for that. So here's what I want you to know about this. If you want to write a card of congratulations and maybe didn't bring one with you, or you do what I often do, which is you left it at home on the table, there are extra cards downstairs. You can grab one, write the message of love and care and appreciation that you would like to, and leave it for Jen. You are encouraged to take photos. Selfies with Reverend Jen are particularly encouraged. Post them to social media. Please use the hashtag Gen10. Please use the hashtag Gen10. And in particular, I want to say a huge thank you to the team that planned this celebration. Can you folks wave so the folks in the sanctuary can see who you are? It takes a village, right? It takes a team to plan a celebration. It takes a team to make sure that we have enough cake and all the other things that have gone into today. And just a huge, huge thank you to you all. So there will be cake and refreshments after the service in the social hall. And while you are down there, I encourage you to take some time to take in the gorgeous artwork of artist Jane Bassick's Looking In textile exhibit. Jane uses a variety of materials to create her small art quilts, and she will be at church next Sunday after both services, so you can get to meet her, talk to her a little bit more about her work. And before you do that, I hope that you get a minute to go down there, take some time to take in her pieces. Here's what I really want to encourage you to do. Look at them from a distance, and then get closer in. Their intricacy really rewards patience and time and really giving yourself the opportunity to take them in from different distances. So I hope you get a chance to do that. I also want to remind you that COVID-19 is still a presence in our lives, and so we are masking in the building unless we are leading worship or taking in food or drink, trying to observe some space between households, and asking before going in for a hug. If you need a mask, ushers can help you get one. And so, friends, as we settle in for this morning's service, I want to invite you to take 3 slow, intentional breaths, breathing down into your feet. And as you do so, breathing at your own pace, if you are able and inclined, I invite you to take in the beautiful artwork that the visual arts team has created for us on the chancel. Let the experience of that art, the nod to the seasons changing, bring you deeper into this moment that we make sacred through our presence.
I call you all into worship with these words by Marge Piercy, a poem titled "To Be of Use." The people I love best jump into work headfirst, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals or field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands and crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are all put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. Also, our chalice lighting. Please join me in saying the words for lighting our chalice this morning. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Today's story is about a young worship director who I know personally. Okay, I found that funnier than. The worship director was wanting to make a special contribution to water communion. You say, in this church last week, we collected water from home where we were, and we put them all into large bowls and pitchers, and we put them together to symbolize our community and the weaving of the community back together, as we do every single time we meet. And what a great idea it was when someone suggested that we should take the water and give it back so that some people could have a part of the water communion with them at any time. And the idea got even better. Let's get little tiny vials, several hundred little tiny vials, and let's put the water in each little vial. So I hold in my hand a basket with a couple hundred glass vials. Do you know how many so many glass vials is? It's so many glass vials. But like church work calls us sometimes to do, I volunteered to put all the water in myself. Now, I do not recommend this for your own meditative practice, but I will say it taught me quite a bit about my own meditative practice as I filled all of those glass vials with the water of our community. The first thing I remember thinking was, whoa, what a great idea. Great, like big, huge. Let's do it. And I came in with all of my excitement. And the next thing I remember was thinking, wow, this is a lot of glass. Wow, that's a lot of water. Wow, isn't it wonderful that with a little heat, you can even cleanse and sanitize water? Wow. And that got me through for a little while until I got to I remember this one, wait, what moment. It was about 100 glass vials in when I realized just how large this community is. Wait, what? Did I volunteer for? Wait, what? This has to continue? Wait, what? And there were even times when I would get frustrated. And that's when I decided to sing. The ocean refuses no river. I sang to myself, and my heart calmed down. The ocean refuses no river. I sang to myself, and I was frustrated again. The ocean refuses no river. I sang, and I remembered that we sang that too. And I remembered you, and it gave me the strength to keep going. Finally, the last vial was made. Whew. And I felt the satisfaction of a job done thoroughly. There was one last part of that meditation I remember. I said, well, the next time, I probably shouldn't have taken on all of that work by myself in the first place. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? This is what community is about. We take our own energy and we combine it with each other's. Mine is not the only one, and so I don't rely just on my own strength. I rely on yours as well. So congratulations, because next year we're doing this together. Truly, though, the result is I have a gift for you, the gift of your own water, the gift of your own collection. There are so many vials, and I invite you on your own time to take a vial home with you. Take it with you to remember community. Take it with you to remember the faces and the stories that we share. Take it with you and remember that your heart is in our heart. And together, we make love and freedom a real thing, not just for ourselves, for us all. I've asked a few singers to help me to demonstrate this after I learn my lesson, of course. And to celebrate #Gen10, we offer this little gift in the form of a song. In my family, whenever a minister celebrates a big event, like an ordination or an anniversary, the family gets together in secret and we prepare a song to sing. And now this part of my family is joining in that great tradition, and we offer this song of community so that we can hear the sound of strength and well wishes and blessing.
By the company we keep, by the one deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Thank you. So, dear ones, it is time now. In a moment, it will be time to invite our children and youth to head to other parts of the building, but don't start moving yet, because there's an order. We're going to try an order here. But first, I want to remind you that whether we are in the sanctuary or in a classroom on Sunday morning, that we are here for the same purpose: to open our minds, to expand our hearts, to grow our spirits. So may we all know ourselves, beloved, and may we do our part to build a world of love and liberation for all, starting right here and right now. Okay, friends, if you are a 6th grader through 12th grader, will you please just wave your hand so that we know that you know who you are? Okay, you know that you are in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. You are first up. Please go straight to your classes. If you are new, follow the crowd to the 2nd floor of the RE wing. Notice folks will be holding signs with your grade level outside your classroom. And if you are not sure where to go, if you need help, please ask someone, one of the folks around you. We are an earnest and helpful group. We will get you where you need to go. So we're going to let them go first. Kindergartners through 5th graders, get ready. It's not your time quite yet, but it's coming. In the same ways vials take time to fill, so too do the classrooms. So there's only so many bodies we can fit into the stairs out there. So we're going to give them a moment to clear the space for you all. Okay. Kindergartners through fifth graders, are you ready? It's your turn. What you're going to do is you are going to meet up with your teachers just outside the sanctuary doors, out in that space that we call the narthex, and they will walk with you to your classrooms. You are a much more orderly group than the 9 a.m. group. We're going to have to remember this. To that land, come and go with me
to that land. Come and go with me to that land. I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound.
Let's allow that music, the prayer that we sang together, to move us more deeply into this time of prayer and meditation. I invite you to put down what you're holding in your hands or in your minds. Allow your bodies to sit up a little straighter, that you might breathe more fully, more easily. Find a posture in which the breath feels effortless. Let's enter into a brief moment of holding silence together, knowing that, as Dr. Glenn Thomas reminded us last week, silence is the absence of intentional adult talking, and that everything else is music from the divine. May we join then in these moments of shared breath that remind us that we are one. Congregation, will you pray with me? Holy One, God of our being and our becoming, spark of reason and radiance that animates and endows our lives. We acknowledge thy presence within us and among us and beyond us this day. Reflections of the infinite mystery everywhere that we care to look. Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? How often do our hearts whisper these questions? All the time. And equally often, though sometimes in the distance, to justice, to freedom, to wholeness is the reply. Help us to remember that we exist in holy tension, that we are always in the midst of change, always in the space between the notes, always in a leap of faith, always needing to trust our capes. May we relax in this liminal space. May our flailings for certainty transform into sure strokes until we are almost out of sight, as the poet writes, lighting the way for those who come after us. Gathered here this morning, there is much that we hold as a community, and I invite you to speak aloud now, to type in the chat, or to hold in your hearts all of the people and the concerns you would lift in worship today, that we might surround all in a care and a love that sets them free. And to all you are naming, I add that we hold in care all those grieving the loss of Reverend Rob Eller Isaacs, whose life was celebrated yesterday at Unity Church, Unitarian across the river. We hold the Eller Isaacs family in our love as they journey with Jan Eller Isaacs, who recently shared news of her own cancer diagnosis. We pray for healing. We pray that there be ease in this journey. Our hearts are with you. And this morning we join in celebration with Howard and Ann Hobbs, who will be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary on September 23rd. We are overjoyed to celebrate with you. And dear ones, we pray that the grip of addiction be loosened, that the weight of oppression be lightened, that truth be told, that joy break through, and that love make every suffering bearable for us all. May it be so. Amen. Will you join me in singing Spirit of Life?
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. come to me.
In the universalist spirit of love and hope, we give, receive, and grow. This is who we are, and this is what we are about. Every week, when we gather, we engage in this spiritual practice of giving and receiving and growing. One of the ways we do that is by the sharing of our financial resources. We do this so that we can learn to trust that when we share what we have, we can all have what we need. So if this is a period in your life when you need to receive, if you are struggling in any way, please reach out to one of the ministers or staff and let us know so we can surround you with the practical and the spiritual love of this community. And if this is a time when you can give, I will invite you to do so shortly. Today's offering goes to support the Cummins Ministerial Internship Fund here at church. This fund was created to honor our minister emeritus, the Reverend John Cummins, and to continue his legacy through us of spotting and training and supporting the next generation of ministers. Through the gifts of this fund, through the interest generated off of it, we are able to be a teaching congregation, to offer an opportunity to come and learn here with us and among us, and in particular, to offer a ministerial internship that is specifically for a person of color training for the ministry. We do this as a way of honoring John's legacy, of his commitment to racial justice, and also to offering repair for the generations of ministers who came into Unitarian Universalism and have found a much harder, if not impossible, path in our faith. So we invite you today to offer your gifts to the Cummins Ministerial Internship Fund, to join in being a teaching congregation, and as John wrote, to honor each person as a unique, one-time, never before, never again event. To trust that each individual has a contribution to make that is and will forever be a part of the human story. Each of us in our lifetime, he wrote, climbs the mountain of human experience, and when we reach the heights and see what is to be seen therefrom, we lie down on that mountain of human experience, and the small measure of our dust adds to its height, whereby our peers and companions and those who come after us may see a small way further than we. That is our immortality. Let us add our dust and our resources to the mountain. Our offering will now be received.
Amen. I am the Reverend Sarah Smalley, longtime member here at First Universalist, and joining me on the chancel is Board Chair Darren Woodson and members of the Gen 10 10th Anniversary Celebration Planning Team. As you might imagine, as part of this planning team, it has been both good fun and deeply meaningful to gather to intentionally reflect on what Jen's ministry has meant for each of us individually, for this congregation, for our denomination, and for the wider world. For a number of weeks recently, there have been articles in the Liberal newsletter describing the many facets of Jen's ministry. I invite you to look those up if you haven't read them, so you have a sense of the scope and impact of Jen's ministry here. But today, we are here to present Jen with this gift on behalf of the entire congregation. This stole is a visual representation of Jen's shared ministry, custom made by fabric artist Don Carlson Kahn. Let me describe it for you before Darren places it on Jen's shoulders. The story of the stole starts, Jen's ministry starts, we all start with the wellspring of love, the eternal love that is our birthright, that is our source. What comes next shimmers with the light of the whole universe. Rising from the wellspring of love are radiant dewdrop jewels. From Jen's book, Take What You Need, Life Lessons After Losing Everything, quote, "On that night, full of fresh grief, the sparkling web of connection we had created was holding us close, each person a dewdrop jewel. On this stole, these dewdrop jewels are the manifestation of love in this world. They are each of us here in this room. They are the parts of ourselves that arise when we are connected to Source. These dewdrop jewels keep moving and growing until they meet with one of life's most powerful forces, transformation. On the back of the stole is a phoenix, one with watercolor lines similar to Jen's own phoenix tattoo. Sewn inside of this stole on the back is this quote from Jen's book, that she might always have this truth embracing her. Quote, "A phoenix, a work of art rising from the ashes of experiences that could have killed me. I am here, beautiful and flowing, I will rise. You are here, beautiful and flowing, teaching us all how to rise." After going through the fires of transformation, the dewdrop jewels get to work blessing the world. Along the left side of the stole are words and phrases that describe Jen's ministry in this congregation. Words Jen embodies: joy, wholeness, courage, liberation, and phrases that are classic Jen: yes, yes, and we got this. These words are anchored by what we think of as Jen's instructions for living a life. Show up, choose love, build community. These words then flow into the weaving of community Jen has created here. 10 ribbons, one for each year of ministry. The colors of the dewdrop jewels and the phoenix all the more vibrant in relationship to each other. This familiar First Universalist prayer is sewn inside as a backdrop to that statement of community. May the grip of addiction be loosened. May the weight of oppression be lightened. May truth be told. May joy break through. And may love make every suffering bearable for us all. The ends of the 10 ribbons are open and unfinished, leaving room for who we are becoming as a congregation.
There's one more element to this stole. Sewn inside, close to Jen's heart, is this dedication. To the Reverend Jen Crow, with love and gratitude, as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of your ministry at First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, September 18th, 2022. So on behalf of the First Universalist Church of Minneapolis, thank you, Jen, for your beautiful flowing ministry. We are grateful for you, and we celebrate your 10 years of ministry with us.
Thank you. Thank you is exactly enough and never enough. There's a symbolism today. The stole I was wearing before comes from my congregation in Rochester, New York. It's my ordination stole. So to have a stole from you all here in our shared ministry together is another chapter in my life and my ministry, and I'm so very grateful for it. So, before I even start preaching, I want to acknowledge some of you may not have bought a ticket for the hour and 15-minute ride this is. Maybe you bought a ticket for an hour ride. That's fine. Feel free to get up and move about and to leave if you need to. It's really okay. This is usually a point where I would distill my sermon down into 3 phrases for you, but I'm going to preach it today. So, we come together with a lot of shared history between us now. 10 years of shared history, me and this congregation, us together, those who are not here with us anymore. Our journeys have intertwined, our stories traveling together for a while, but the story of this congregation goes back long before, like Arif said, 1859. The story of this congregation will go out far into the future, I pray, beyond all of us. But for now, our journeys are intertwined, and that is very much on purpose. You see, I arrived at this congregation on purpose. I knew about you. This is where I have always wanted to be. The universalist spirit of love and hope that is alive in this place, in the bones of this congregation, in its history, is something I have always wanted to join my life force and my ministry to. You are a powerful force. You have been a powerful force in the world, and you will be going forward, all of us, working to transform not just our own individual hearts, but this world we are a part of, to transform it toward love and justice, based in love and hope, courage and compassion and humility. This is the world we are building in our hearts, in this congregation, and out in the world. This is who we are. This is what we are doing together. And the dreams that we have are coming together. "20 years ago, I began what I believe was my real ministry during my internship across the river at Unity Church Unitarian. I joined that congregation as the Hallman ministerial intern. The internship was named for Laurel Hallman, who was the first woman ever to lead one of our large Unitarian Universalist congregations. Her service started in 1987. I joined with Reverend Rob and Jan Eller Isaacs, and they became my teachers, my mentors across the river. Their commitment to spiritual depth, to shared ministry, to nurturing the next generation of ministers, and to creating beloved community was at the center of their lives and their ministry. And through their teaching, it has become central to mine as well. Shared ministry, spiritual depth, nurturing the next generation, not just of ministers, but of lay leaders, creating beloved community. This is my calling too, and I know it is also yours as a congregation. This congregation based in love and hope. You have articulated your dream for years, but most recently you have articulated it so clearly through the adoption of the 8th principle just this last June. The 8th principle that says that as a member congregation of the Unitarian Universalist Association, we, this congregation, covenants to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and in our institutions. You claimed that as your purpose. Over my 10 years with you, our visionary goals have proclaimed this too. First Universalist is a multiracial, multicultural, intergenerational faith community of mutual caring and support where people bring all of who they are and welcome each other with joy. Our sense of who we are as a community of faith is ever expanding. This is the purpose you all have named for yourself. We are joining our dreams, our hopes together. And we have been through it already together. The beautiful, the broken, the awful, the joyful. Over the last 10 years, we have been through those ups and downs together as a community. Soon after I arrived, we were joining together to fight against the marriage amendment in 2012. We decided to build the house that love built with Habitat for Humanity and to partner with the family who lives there still. We decided together to create a religious education program for children, youth, and families that was free of barriers, removing the fees that we used to charge for participation in that program, because we believe that the spiritual growth of all is the responsibility of us all. Together, we've moved the institutional practices of the church into deeper alignment with our values. We have created a staff team together that is connected in relationship and purpose, where we practice being the multiracial, multicultural, intergenerational community that the congregation dreams of becoming. Together, we imagined and made renovating this building possible, to make it a space not for ourselves alone, but to build an inclusive future in, so we could welcome each other online and in person, so that we could generate some of the energy we need from the sun with the solar panels on our roof, to create beauty so there would be space for imagination and creativity, rest and nurturance. We've gone deep in our spiritual lives and through spiritual practice, small groups, and bearing witness in public with our faith. We have become, in some ways, what we already were, but even more so, a space that teaches us to live our faith in public, in our relationships with each other, in this congregation, and out into the world. Together we have weathered and continue to weather the ups and downs of the COVID-19 pandemic, the racial justice reckoning that continues to unfold, the realities of global warming and the devastating human impact on our earth. We have Zoomed and marched. We have brought meals and made phone calls and supported each other and our larger community in moments when it felt like the whole world was falling apart. We have known losses, collective and personal, over the years, and we have welcomed in new life in so many forms. Together, we have held it all, beautiful and broken, joy and woe, all of it. And with each loss and with each joy, our hearts have turned and expanded in the cycle of life. We have been through it together, friends, and we are going through it still. For many of us, returning to community in person and online is a big and challenging move after years of pandemic living. Grief is with us. Frustration is with us. Exhaustion is with us. And recently, our community experienced a big bump, though that shape of that bump took different forms for many of us. When our choir director departed recently, our choir and our congregation lost a beloved leader and teacher. When our choir director left and said that I am a person who wields my power with secrecy and control and enforces employment policies in a way that are not in alignment with our values as a congregation, some of you doubted and are still doubting whether this is a community where you can put your trust. Some are doubting whether I am a person in which you can put your trust. Some of you have watched as members of our community, acting from places of pain and loss, have said and done things that have caused harm, especially to our leaders and staff of color and to me. Some of us have caused pain, some of us have experienced pain, some of us have watched and listened as events have unfolded and not known what to do, and all of us are experiencing the impact of this pebble hitting the water, feeling the ripples even if we haven't been intimately involved in this change and conflict. Change sends ripples out into the water of our shared life. Conflict does this too. And those ripples are always coming. Since I've been here over the last 10 years, more than 25 staff members have departed. This isn't unusual in a large congregation like ours. And each change sends ripples out through the water of our shared community. We have known disagreements between us, between each other, within ourselves, and that will continue. Those ripples are always happening. The commitment I hope we share is not to minimize or push away conflict or change when it comes, but instead to lean into the practices of love, of compassion, courage, and humility, of staying in it together, speaking the truth in love. These are opportunities to practice our faith more deeply. Opportunities to lean in to each other, trusting that discomfort can lead to deeper relationship and expanding possibilities right next to the loss. We know from our experience as a congregation striving to live in racial justice that shame and blame, guilt and fear are not the wellspring of a reimagined community or of healed hearts. And yet we know these things, shame and blame and guilt and fear, are close at hand and easily triggered, especially for folks like me, white folks in community. I am forever grateful for our people of color who are members of our staff, who who are members of our church, who are teachers and theologians in the world, who keep on reminding me and us that healing and justice do not come from fear and shame. These are not trustworthy building blocks. Love and hope, justice and wholeness and accountability are the building blocks of beloved community. Our Universalist ancestors taught us this when they put their faith in love and hope and salvation for us all. They started to share the idea that love and hope was something we were all worthy of, salvation individually and collectively, liberation and justice for us all. Years later, our Unitarian Universalist faith got bolder still, and folks started to speak of beloved community, of creating communities of love and justice, salvation for us as individuals and collectively here on earth, moving us from idea into practice. Beloved community, a phrase coined by philosopher and theologian Josiah Royce back in the early 1900s. He said that beloved community is a spiritual or divine community capable of achieving the highest good as well as the common good. The highest good as well as the common good. Preachers and activists took this concept and made it more explicit, with Martin Luther King Jr. naming beloved community as a community in which everyone is cared for, absent of poverty, hunger, and hate. Beloved community. You have named this as what you hope to build here in this congregation. I am joining my path with yours that we might try to make this true. In fits and starts, failures for sure, but trying again and again, beginning again in love together. This dream we share of building beloved community, of belonging to it, is an old dream. I dare say it is even God's dream, the universe's dream, the earth's dream, a multicultural, multiracial, intergenerational community of faith. We are joining our lives with this. And here's the thing. In beloved community, we are all special, and none of us are special, both at the same time. We are unique, one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime incarnations. We are beautiful and amazing and unique, and we all bear similar responsibilities, some more than others. In beloved community, no one is off the hook. Professor Mark Hicks talks about universalism like this: a love that will not let us go, will not let us down, will not let us off the hook. So friends, I am on the hook with you. Are you on the hook with me? Are you on the hook with me? Are we on the hook to do the hard work of practicing what it is to become beloved community, to belong to beloved community? Yes. Compassion, courage, humility, accountability, wholeness, justice. This is how we will need to be with each other and with the world. May it be so. Amen.
Friends, will you sing with me? The hymn is 131, Love Will Guide Us, Peace Has Tried Us. Rise with me and let's sing. Love will guide us. Love will guide. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way. Will lead the way. On the road greed to giving, greed to giving. Love will guide us. through the hard night. If you cannot, sing like angels, sing like angels. If you cannot, speak before thousands, speak before you can give from deep within you, deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, love will guide. Peace has tried us, peace has tried us. Hope inside us, hope inside. We'll lead the way, we'll lead the way. On the road from greed to giving, greed to giving. Love will guide us, love will guide us through the hard night.
Show up, choose love, build community. Let's do it together. Amen.
Let's sing together. Where you go, 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 for your people, for your divine, my divine. One more time. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Go in peace, my friends. So many vials.